So welcome everyone to our webinar, How to Land a Job in a Corporate Company After Unemployment. We all know that the longer the unemployment period or the job seeking period is longer, the longer it gets, we get more demotivated, and maybe our, how do I say, we get down, and maybe we can't find the courage and energy to and motivation to look and search for more. But we would just like to show you an example that our guest speaker, Katarina Jurišić, that it's possible that after a long period of job seeking, you can find your ideal job in your dream company. And we will now hear from her what kind of necessary steps she had to take, what she had to change, what she had to do differently to be able to get her dream job. So in this webinar, we will discuss details of a successful CV, what makes a successful CV different, and then details of a successful cover letter, job hunting tips in Finland, networking, especially this is important for international mothers, because without because we have this disadvantage that we don't have any networking in Finland, but it is possible still to start and create your own network. And then emotional and mental well-being during this unemployment and job seeking period, how to keep your family balance and how to keep yourself motivated. So now we can hear Katarina's story, how she has succeeded. So you can
Hande, sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if it's your microphone or somebody else. The microphone is open and we can hear some noises.
Okay, yeah, I can mute.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, so I will just, you can stop sharing the slides then, Cecilia. Okay.
All right, I guess I can share mine.
Yes, please. And if you have any questions, you can raise a hand and you can ask Katarina, or you can ask at the end. We will have the last 20 minutes as the Q&A section, so you can also ask there. And she's also going to share her CV and cover letter that she has used to apply to her current job. So I think that will be a great example for everyone who is interested. So here you go, Katarina.
Yes, thank you. All right, I'm gonna start with a short introduction of who am I, where I come from, what am I doing here. So I'm Katarina Jurišić, and by profession I am a laboratory technician. I work in Neste as in a catalyst laboratory. I moved to Finland just 2.5 years ago, and that's where my job hunting journey actually started. I'm gonna share it like this. I moved here actually just right after I graduated, or to be more specific, I had my last exam on the same day when I moved to Finland. So it was quite of a journey to start with the motherhood, marriage, and looking for the job practically at the same time. And that has been, I must say, one of the most challenging times in my life. So, and when I arrived here, I figured that there is so much that I don't know or where to even start. So joining these kinds of events was one of the first things I did, and all my networking process actually started just after the maternity leave, which was about a year of being in Finland. And just by being here, it's one of my always to-go tips for everyone is just be brave and show up, because just getting to know other people and seeing like what is that they are doing, like what are the steps that they have taken. And you don't just get to meet people inside your own industry or in the target company that you are looking for. It's also about getting inspired by certain individuals and just seeing like, oh, wow, these people are doing these amazing things. Like, and if you ever think of like, I thought of like, I want to do amazing things like that and be that successful person. And just meeting these people and hearing their stories was very inspiring to find out like what are my possibilities, because what other people do is sometimes much more than maybe I can even think of at the first place. So hearing their stories is very important part of the job search. And I would say when it comes to networking, like I said, like events like this in modern business, then the place where I volunteered in communications and marketing, Bloom. Then there is International Working Women of Finland, all kinds of associations that that are open to moms and women and foreigners and like everyone. They have amazing kind of events that that can really support your growth and offer you diverse workshops that will just bring you to the right people. And that's already a big step to just show up. So once I started looking for a job, it all started with, of course, you have to make the CV, you have to make a cover letter for most of the jobs. But of course, there is difficulty of like the language barrier and what is considered a good CV in Finland. As I learned, it's the standards kind of it's not the same everywhere. And somewhere in it also depends a lot on industry, like how is your CV supposed to look a little bit artistic, or what are you supposed to present in it. In some jobs it's more important to describe what are actually the things and the tasks that you've been doing, or like what is the big experience that you have in certain field, or even if you don't have, what are some of the skills that you can use to get to that experience. So except like learning how to do that CV and apply for the jobs, attending these like networking events and finding hobbies and volunteering places were some of the things that I really wanted to do, because it's being a mom and being a parent, it's amazing and it's such an important thing to me, but it was also important to me to still be myself and to do things that I like. So really making that hobby time, volunteering time for, and making room for the things that I love to do was important. And I know it's very appreciated to stay active and develop skills, not just related to your profession, but be active part of society. So if I would have to name things that are really important to getting to the certain point, which is like getting a job, it's just to stay active in what you love to do. And after my maternity leave has ended, I decided that I will invest my time into a language course. So I took one as a part of the integration program, which lasted 9 months in total. That was long and intense, and it was a journey of ups and downs. And everyone usually say like, oh, Finnish is so hard. I must say, from the very beginning, when I moved to Finland, I decided that I'm not going with that attitude. It's not going to happen. I'm going to learn that Finnish. And now it's 2.5 years later and I'm fluent in it. So I call it a success, and I always say it's possible. It just takes a really positive attitude and good work and support environment, and to find yourself those Finnish friends that are so hard to find, and practice the language. And
we had a question, Katarina.
Yeah.
Hanna, do you want to ask? We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't intending to ask a question. I was intending to clap, because you mentioned that in 2.5 years you'd become fluent, and that's an amazing achievement.
Thank you.
So, well done.
So yes, yeah, I took that language course in Onenkieli. It's a language school in Tampere. I don't know where other people located, so that might not be that relevant. And then I had another one, which was an online course, and that was in Artman language school. And of course, we had to do our internship, which I consider really important thing in the job hunting for one foreign person, regardless of mom or none, because it's putting yourself on a job market. And there is always that thing, like, is your diploma valid in this country? Because people study everywhere, and of course competence and the competition is huge, even in Finland, regardless of how many immigrants there is. So getting yourself in the work market in any kind of way, with internship or job tryout, is a big deal. And that is something that I would really like to share, that these services have that option, that you get to try a job, which is basically same paid, like going to that integration program, but you get to pick a company where you wanna do a short period for some kind of internship, and you actually try out the job and see if the job is suitable for you. And that way you can also get experience and learn new things, which is great. And you get to practice your Finnish language skills if needed. So that's, I think, big victory for everyone. And it's not the same as internship, as it's more like a work tryout. So
Katarina, can I just make a comment? I think that maybe we have moms who have just came to Finland, and maybe they are not they didn't have the chance to maybe invest so much time on language. But I would just like to say that I have had my long share in Finland. Like, I've been here for I think 12 years almost, and it really depends in what kind of a sector or industry you work at also. For example, in my sector, which is health technology, I don't need to use Finnish, but then there are jobs that you really need it. So I think that one needs to know and be realistic. Okay, I want to work in this industry, in this sector. Do I need to know Finnish? They really need to understand that what they're expected. And then based on that, if it's so that they have an education, a background that they don't necessarily need Finnish, maybe they don't need to make it their priority in the beginning. And then so it really depends also your background and the job that you want to do. What would you say about that? Do you agree with me?
Indeed, there is a difference in, like, the level of jobs, because some companies, especially big companies, have English as their working language. So language course is, of course, not a priority, but in my case, it really was. And I know for the fact that even those people who whose work language is English, they do still take some of the language courses because, you know, all of the coffee room conversations happen to be in Finnish, and it's like such a small thing to be able to be part of it. So it's more, I would say, from my point of view, it's kind of thing you wanting to give your share of being part of that community and society. So I think it's a nice.
I totally agree.
I
totally
agree.
agree. Yes, because I also think that, you know, everyone wants to know what you are thinking. The people were commenting maybe how is the day, or if people is talking about you, and you know, everyone, and you feel also it's like you are more inside of the society and you understand more things, like why maybe people is behaving in certain things, because the cultural things are affecting also, depending on the language, you know, background. But I also totally agree that it depends a lot in the sector. Like for example, my case is business and sustainability, business and management, and like I know that, for example, in my case, I know that I won't get fluently in Finnish anytime soon, but I really need to find a job like as soon as possible. So I don't feel like my value that I'm bringing to the companies will be like the language skills. It will be something else. So, but of course, I'm learning also. I'm still in the international classes and learning everything. But it's like, this is not really like my highlight, what I will stand for in my application. Is just something else that I will add, you know, like, yes, I know some Finnish, but it's not really like why you should hire me.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I will move to the next slide, which was the thing that I mentioned, like being active and finding things that you like to do. And these are some of the things that I participated in that made like a big impact on me as a person, and really helped me to maintain that positive attitude and my confidence, in fact, because where I actually started in looking for that confidence when I really felt like, am I even good for those jobs? Like, can I even make it? Like, should they really hire me? And it can be like, it can really put you down to constantly not get an answer or get a no, and just wonder like, what am I doing wrong? So my first step was that I found a hobby that was totally out of my comfort zone, which was in that Tampere karate club. And I just thought, I'm gonna do it. And after I finished the course, I was so proud of myself to get that karate passport. And to me, it was a huge step to gain the confidence that I can actually do things even that are not my thing, and that if I can do this, that's not my thing, then I can do what I studied for and what I know how to do. And after that, I looked for that internship, which was in Pyynikin brewing company. And I found a small thing on the side, which was this speech project. And it's something actually that all of you might benefit from, which is a project for preservation and empowerment of European languages. And
I'm sorry, Katarina, to interrupt. Are you sharing some slides? Because I only see the first slide of your presentation. I don't know if you.
Really?
Yes, we cannot see anything else. It's like just the title and your name, and then.
Oh, okay. That's strange. Yeah, I will try to do that again. Then internet must have crashed. Is it better?
Now you are in, I think, yes. Now we can see something different.
Yeah, let me. Now?
Maybe if you press, yes, if you press the presentation itself and then you go clicking. And then.
I think this presentation mode doesn't work. So you just need to click on each slide. one by one, and then we can see them that way.
Okay. Let me try again.
We can see now. It's okay. You can continue there, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. No, it always throws me from there. Okay, can you see it now, or is it still on the first one?
No, now it's in the 5th slide.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's then move on. And yeah, then as a last thing is that I joined as a communications officer in Bloom, which is Association for Connecting Foreigners, and that was a really amazing place for networking and just meeting new people who do great things and looking for new ways, like how to learn to do the CV and find a job, and different places to look for it. So can you see the next slide?
No, you are on, we can see the whole PowerPoint. You are not in the presentation mode. So it's still there. You need to either go with your,
Okay.
now you have moved. Now, yes, now it's moved.
There.
Yep.
Okay, then we're gonna just keep it like this. So yes, about the CV and what really made a difference when applying to Neste. In this point, I guess I could share my CV if my computer allows. So I actually asked my manager when I sent my application, what was the thing that was so great that you picked me? And well, these are one of the things she mentioned that were good, which was, of course, it's always important that you are applying for the job that you are actually qualified for. Of course, some things you don't have to always know everything, because there is so many things you learn at your workplace, and I think it's very common that to apply for the job if you meet at least like 60% of the things that are required. Then one thing that she told me that was good, that is being active and just doing other things rather than just being home and being with a small child, and then being able to manage that time and to find things for yourself was a big deal, to show that you're an active person and who wants to learn and do new things. Another thing is that information is clearly shown at this point. I think I could open the CV. Can you see it?
Not right now. We still see the PowerPoint.
Okay, then new share.
Now we see it. Oh,
Yes.
looks super cool.
Yeah, thanks. So I wrote my CV in Finnish for the reason that the job that I'm doing is in Finnish. So that was one of the important things that actually made a good impression if you are looking for the job in Finnish, and you can that way show your vocabulary and how to do it. As a kind of what makes a CV a good CV is get it reviewed by other people, and there are career coaches who can like help you point out the skills you need for the certain job. So I find that as a very useful thing for someone else to take a look at it and be like, is this some other way you can put this together and to present it? And when I say information showed clearly, is this kielitaitoni, it's language skills. So there's the languages that I know and what is their level. And I know that some people like to put things as like a listening comprehension, writing and other things, but they can anytime test your skills. And I believe that somehow there's very little people who are in some kind of language field and working with it specifically. So the language is just a mean for you to work. So it's not that important to spread it in all areas and what are your levels. In the end, you can always address what are the language schools you took, what is your level and things like that, and send certificates. So then what I addressed is like my IT skills, and I think it's good to address programs and you actually used in your work. And I think it's also part of a proactive attitude to want to learn these and to be able to do things. I mean, if you can do one, you can do everything else. And then I added laboratory skills, which is specifically my field related, because I wanted to show all the things that I know how to do. But I would say it's really important to put things that you feel confident doing, and not just put something you've done sometime, maybe 10 years ago, few times, that's maybe not so relevant for the job, but just to make the list long, because I know that some people do that and it's not always helpful. And then I would say also about like a work experience, to add the ones relevant and in a recent time, that would also be useful for the work that you would be doing in a certain position you're applying for, because not everything is always relevant, and not every small side gig you do on a side is very relevant for the job. And of course, like your education, I think that is something that everyone knows that should be in their CV. And I wanted to mention about the picture part. Does it make it good or not? And I actually discussed it with many people, and everyone who I asked at least responded to it as a, of course you put your picture, it's like your ID card just for the work. And I agree with that, and it's kind of gives a small personal touch to it, even though I don't think that even these visuals are that important, or like that the picture is important, but it's just if you want to make it like really your own and put some personality into it. So yeah, that is my opinion on that one. So I will return to the
I would like to ask you before, if you have covered the CV, I have a question for you now here. What do you think related to include or not the parental leave thing there? Because it's also like the picture. Sometimes it's like, yeah, you should include it, or you should include it in the cover letter, or you should not, because then you can explain that if you get the opportunity in the interview, or it could not. Sometimes, you can lose points somehow. So I don't know if this sometimes is polemical topic, and it's been also in my case, like I've been thinking like how to do it, because sometimes it's not being only them. For example, for some people, they've been also traveling, sometimes you just decide to make a break to travel around the world or something like that. But in this case, specifically the parental leave, how do you think it, do you recommend it to approach, or I don't know, you have any tip about this?
Well, from what I've experienced at least in Finland, everyone are so supporting about having a family and having children, and having to go on maternity leave is just a normal thing that's gonna eventually happen. So I think that it's not seen as a bad thing. I personally wouldn't put it on a CV, like in any case, because I see CV, like I said, ID for my work and what I learned and what's my experience. But I mentioned it when I had my interview, like the first interview. I said that first I was on maternity leave, and that's just the fact. It's the year or two or whatever amount of time that I needed for that thing in my life. So I don't think it's something that's looked down onto, then that I wouldn't mention, because it's part of my life. And of course, like that child and maternity leave and being a parent is just part of everything. You can't leave it out, but I don't think it's necessary to mention it unless they ask, and they are basically not allowed to ask. So it's really up to you.
Yeah, sometimes it's just because I have heard also the other side that maybe just to cover if they see like there is a gap in your CV. Like it can raise questions that, as you said, you can always have the opportunity. You will always have the opportunity to answer if they give you the opportunity to have an interview, of course.
Yes.
And explain.
But I personally have experienced that maternity leave and any kind of parental leave gap in your career, it's not a gap, it's just a part of the life, really. Yeah. And I think it's not something that affects your getting employed or not, and things like that. Or so
I think that's the case for Finland, yes, because most companies, they respect this balance of family and career, so they don't mind you writing it to the CV. So at least in my case, I have always written it. Also on LinkedIn, I have shared it, but I have also gotten comments saying that it's not needed. Yeah, so it's like a really sounds like there is these two opinions about this.
Yes, there really is like a gap between like, should you write it or should you not, or is it important? That it's kind of, I see it in a way, if you don't write it, they will ask you anyway, what's that gap? And if you write it, it's just there. But then there is that part that if you don't write it, they will ask, and then you say you were on maternity leave, and then I know like in some other countries it's inappropriate to ask anything related to family, and it's pretty much illegal. It shouldn't be relevant to the job. But I just find it as a nice chit chat topic, because it can also be relatable to the person who is interviewing you. So you just might have children same age, and if your boss is really nice, you might have them meet each other one day. So you never know.
Actually parent skills can be transferable to the job. So you can always say, like in the interview, I have passions, yes, but I developed, because I'm a 2-year-old teenager, it's helping me to improve my passion, my patience skills, or something, similar.
Yes. So it has its positive sides indeed. So yeah, I think I will get back to. Yeah. Are there any questions at this point?
I don't see any more questions.
No.
I think we can continue. Yeah.
Actually, now it has been 30 minutes, but I think just because there's no questions, please continue and finish, Katarina, as long as it takes. We have 20 minutes, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I believe I'm on a slide.
Yes, now we can see the CV slide.
Yes,
and now the cover letter.
Yeah. So I would say the cover letter, I put actually a definition of it because, well, I did not know it that well when I started looking for the job. What is it supposed to be, how long, and everything. So it's, for me, the cover letter is something to fill the gap, what's not been said already in your CV, which is basically why did you choose the company, what makes you want to be there, and why they should choose you. And of course, like, to mention what is your kind of current situation and where do you like come from with your mindset and your why are you approaching them in the end. And I can just share mine real quick, which I can also share later with everyone. And I really try to make it as compact and as short as it can be, just to explain these things I already mentioned. And as a small, I'm brave enough to use my Finnish, I added this Finnish sentence in the end. Like, don't hesitate to contact me and like make more clear what are my language skills. And I wrote it in the rest of the things in English because I just consider that I can express myself better, and I would rather make it sure that it's good than to little bit make it kind of level under with using the Finnish that I might not know that well. Yeah. But yes, I can share this with everyone else.
Yeah, it's super interesting to see the difference, that like how the cover letter can tell so much about the person, like itself, like personality. And sometimes I have, like in my integrational class, one of my teachers said that cover letters are not popular for Finnish people and they don't like cover letters. And I was shocked. I was like, really? I have spent so much time trying to learn an effort to learn how to write correctly and, you know, make a nice message and impact on the recruiters. How you can tell me that?
Yeah.
But I see also that it depends a lot of in the industry, in the role and the companies, how you write, and I think what you want to communicate to them.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's more, you can use that spark you have and the confidence and the positive mindset to bring that to the employer. But just give me a moment. I have to let my family in an apartment.
Sure. Sure. No worries. Well, meanwhile, I was talking about the cover letter, and because I'm in the business area, and I see the cover letter is a bit much longer. Maybe it's still always one page, but like more content, let's say like that. And some people also like to add like a bullet points. So that's also like sometimes how you want to introduce yourself and what is the impression that you want to make. Like everyone has their own footprint.
Okay, and yeah, I have one more slide left, so let's do that and wrap it up. So I wanted to add like just some of the pages that I actually used for searching for the job, and where you can look for volunteer positions. For example, this Työmarkkinatori, it's a place where you can check what are the specifications of your own profession, and then on the page it gives you also different companies where you can work at. So that is very helpful to actually know where to start with your job search. And then the business in Finland, they also have their kind of blog and job openings. So that is one place to go. And then for the people who live in EU countries, there is EURES. So for all the jobs, kind of for all of the people who live in EU, right? And they are, I think, in all kinds of languages. They are not just in Finnish or English. So it really depends. And then We Make Change is it's a platform for gathering both volunteers and the companies who need volunteers, which is really a great way to find your volunteer position and what would you like to do. You can like pick it based on the field you want to work at. And also, I think you can like kind of make your own profile of the things you want to learn, so the company actually finds you. So it's kind of matching place. And then there is this ammattibarometri. It's like a profession barometer, and it shows where is your profession needed in Finland. So if you have an option to move from one place to another, it's a good tool to use and look where are more of the jobs in your own field. And then I added this Jobs in Finland, which is also another website for looking for English speaking jobs. And that's except the ones like regular TE office, that Mol.fi, where I personally looked for the things that helped me in getting a job.
I would like to just add something that during my job search, because I had also, after maternity leave, I had a long, maybe 4 or 5 months of job search, and I have invested a lot of time on my LinkedIn profile, maybe hours every day, and just trying to make it perfect, and which is never perfect. But I can say I found my current job on LinkedIn. So it is very important to kind of really get out there and advertise yourself. And I tried to reach people in my field, even though I didn't know them. You know, I tried to send them messages and ask if we can connect. So just try to like build your network, and you can still succeed in it even if you don't have any network in Finland, just with small steps and just putting the effort on how to advertise your skills and yourself on these kind of platforms. I think it's very important. I think that just maybe 10 years ago, I remember sending a CV to someone's email could have been enough, but not anymore. You really need to now use these platforms. And
Yes, LinkedIn is really good tool if you kind of want to have your public CV and for everyone to have access on what do you know and what do you do and how active you are. So I think that's a great way. And I wanted to add about it that that's how I actually approached my mentor for that internship that I had. And it's really good way to connect with companies and the team leaders, the people who work there, to find out more about the places where you want to be. And so I would not give any specific tips about it, because I also think that I'm not so great in it and about the things that I share. But I know that there are some mothers in business who are amazing in personal branding and have their workshops regularly. So yeah, I believe they can share more about that.
Yeah, I think I think it's super important also. I think for everyone, just to have, because you are not able to share everything in one page. Sometimes you want to tell more than in a cover letter and a CV. You have always the space in your LinkedIn, like to share more things, and at the same time write your thoughts. Some people are so brave enough to write posts. I'm not brave enough to write posts. I try to be active, but I feel so shy like to write a post about something. But I think it's great because they try to communicate things. I think there is a chat. Someone is Hannah is sharing the network on LinkedIn can grow by identifying some common hashtags to post under. For example, hashtag Finland works and hashtag Finnish up. more on the language skills topics. That's so true. That's also like, you know, there are so many tools nowadays that if you start following some key people in Finland and you start having, you know, similar suggestions to follow, and then you are up to see also, you know, that there are maybe some opening positions somewhere, and the people know someone maybe that you don't know directly the person, but you are connected through someone. Yes. That can you know, it could be relevant just to have a insider tips from that person, even if she doesn't know, but someone can introduce you through that. Yeah, so I don't know if there's any more questions from the participants, comments. I have a few questions for you that of course I wanted first if the participants want to share something.
I have just one question.
Sure.
Let me think about it for a second.
No worries.
Yeah, so what's your advice for any job seekers and overcoming the potential resentment that comes from being rejected and declined in your job search efforts?
I would say keep yourself busy, because and take a break from looking for the job. I know what you mean with that resentment about it, because you can really get sucked into every day checking these advertisements, like, is there something new, something I can apply for? And it can be really frustrating to either like not find something to apply for, or no just stopping the traffic or trying to keep yourself motivated to keep doing it, because it feels very like frustrating to like constantly not succeed, and taking a break from looking for the job and just say, okay, now I'm gonna leave it on the side and I'm gonna go do what I like and what I know how to do, and just enjoy that time with the friends and finding the hobbies and places that will distract you from it, because looking for a job is a full-time job and you need a break from it, like from anything else. So I think that's the thing to do.
Thank you. Sound advice.
I can add something. I think that volunteering is actually something I did, again, to take my mind off of the constant refreshing job websites. And I think when you volunteer, maybe let's say Mothers in Business, why not? And you actually create your own network. You meet people, and you never know, maybe someone you co-host your own first webinar can be someone who you will work with in the future. So I think creating these opportunities to meet other people, it can be very beneficial, and it's not just wasting your time. It's creating a network and also kind of creating a hobby for yourself.
Yes,
yes,
that's
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Like I said, it's just you just have to show up somewhere to meet someone, to do something, because yes, work is important, but it's also really important to kind of be in peace with yourself and be able to relax. It makes you a better person and more mentally prepared for the new challenges that the job brings. So yeah, having that time off from job search is important.
Yeah, I will add only that for me, at least, what has worked a bit is that I organize my day. Like, you know, I have classes from this time to this time, and I only will sit to look for a job these 2 hours or certain, you know, in certain periods. And then I will stop. No matter what, I will sit and watch a TV or do something else. But because you can get really like toxic emails from LinkedIn all the time with the, you know, with the alerts. And that makes you feel more stressed, at least for me. Like I'm thinking all the time, oh, I need to send this application. I need. So I stopped doing that and I just follow my Excel. And then my Excel, I know, okay, I have these 3 new jobs that these 3 new applications that I need to send until this day. But just not to get distracted with so much sometimes that you get, in the LinkedIn, like a network, because the people, is posting things. Sometimes you get also, overwhelmed with that. Yeah. And as you said, also the volunteering part, for me, it's been like really key success to meet such amazing people that they have gone through this before, or they are experts maybe in as a career coach, or they are really good writing maybe. And, have someone who will look at your CV and comment and tell you, hey, you can do better than this. Because sometimes you think it's already beautiful and great, and then you find out and see other CVs, it's like, oh my goodness, I need to improve a lot. But then you have these great people that you meet, and then of course they are in different areas, but they are in Finland, they have gone through the same, and they sometimes have, their strengths are writing. Maybe your strength is not writing, maybe your strength is more visual, but it's just to get to know the right person in the right moment, and then just to grab a coffee and chat and, let it out, all the feelings, and share their ideas. Like, for example, I got a great idea, like I didn't know that for a business area, you can also write a blog showing what kind of products that you have developed during your career, like during your previous role, like what you have done. I will not have no idea what I could have done that, and I know that I will need time, but now I know that people can do that. And you can add that to your application, but you'll always learn something new. I think Hannah, you're commenting something.
You are muted, Hannah.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry again. Yeah, so I think one of the key things is not to hesitate asking for help, because I wasn't so much asking the question I asked from the point of view of being in the position of job hunting for myself, but I'm actually coaching others who do that. And I find that there is the area of the CV and the cover letter and the kind of technical side of job searching, but then the emotional side can be a challenge, because sometimes people get so overburdened with the negative experiences that it's actually quite difficult to bounce back from all of that. So that's why it was really nice to hear how you've dealt with and what kind of ways you have found to deal with that side of things, or that side of this particular topic.
I can also comment that there has been times also for me I felt like it will never happen. I will never find that job I'm looking for. But I think I just told myself that there is a job for me. There is a job for everyone. And maybe, yes, I can't see it now in the job advertisements, but one day. And then I started to see really suitable jobs. So maybe you can't see it now, but maybe a month later it will pop up. So I think just believing that the suitable job for you will pop up at some point, and you will see it and you will apply. That can also motivate someone to know that they will come, and that they just need to be all ears and eyes and just look for those suitable jobs.
Yes, for me, one big part of it was that I knew where I wanted to work, and I knew what was kind of the mission that I wanted to be part of, which is, well, this one in Neste, and it was my like target company since I moved to Finland and a little bit before that. So also looking for something that you truly believe at is really important. It's not just, something that's in your field, or yes, I'm qualified for it, but like, are you really with your whole being into that job? So I think that that's also a big part of looking for that perfect place. And I think people notice that when you are really invested in it.
Yes, definitely. So thank you, Katarina and Hanna. Are there any other questions to Katarina? Okay, I think then we are done. We are out of time. So thank you very much for this webinar, for joining. Thank you, Katarina and Cecilia, for co-hosting and for all the questions, and hope to see you in another webinar. And yes.
Yes, there is so much things to talk, and there are always things like you know, like when you're looking for a job, like, oh, I have so many questions, how should I do this and that? And so I think it's always good to keep this network active. So if you still have some questions, please join just the Modern Business Facebook group, and you can find us also on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And don't be shy, just write a message, and we can always share something, or if we cannot, you know, still or answer your questions, we can find someone who can give us that help. So that's why this network is for, and we are happy to have you here. And thank you, Katarina, for such a
Thank you
great
so much
presentation
for
and
inviting
sharing
me for this.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sharing this story, and we really wanted to hear like something
Yes.
else, like a corporate, because I know that it's sometimes challenging, and there are thousands of people who want to join a big corporate. And yeah, it was good to have you here, and yeah, all the best. Thanks.
To you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.